You see, when I drove a race car, it was a lot of fun, but you know what was not allowed in that race car? A rear view mirror. You can't win a race looking what's behind you. You'll slow down the whole pack if you do that. You cannot do it. You can't win a race. You can't be successful in obtaining the goal that is set before you if you're constantly looking back. And some of us can't win a game of checkers because we're so busy looking back at the game of chess we lost the week before. It's just the way things are. You can't live a life of victory today when we're so focused on the little defeat that happened yesterday. It's time to put some things behind us and to move forward. And I need you to hear me very clearly in this. This church will not reach the potential that God has ordained for it until we learn to put stuff behind us and press on forward toward the goal in which He has called each of us to. I'm telling you something. As a church, we are letting Satan distract us with too many things that happened in the past, whether they happened 100 years ago, whether they happened 50 years ago, 5 years ago, or 5 days ago. We got to get over it. And we've got to move forward because He is robbing us of the victory that was given to you upon Calvary's cross. And that's what causes us to live in defeat when we are hand-shackled to the things of the past. Can I tell you something? The victory on Calvary's cross, it does not belong to Satan. It belongs to Jesus Christ, and He has imparted it to me. And with that trophy of grace, we are called to be good stewards of that. So I will not allow Satan to steal my joy. He will not steal my hope, and he will not steal my victory. We're letting him win. We're letting him celebrate. We're letting Satan have all these victories when he does not deserve it. So what do? We stay focused, and we move forward in devotion because devotion is not a hobby. Let me give you a few more about moving forward since we're talking about what it means to move forward, not look back. You remember the story of Moses in Exodus chapter 14? Pharaoh's army was after them, and God led them down this peninsula, and they ended up on this little key, if you will, that was out in toward the ocean. They didn't have anywhere to go, to the left or the right. There was an ocean this way, and Pharaoh's army is driving down on them. And they says, why'd you leave us out of there? It says we could have just died out there. At least we would have had our lives. We could have lived, but you brought us out here, Moses. Why'd you do that? Dumb preacher. Why'd you lead us this way? We'd have been better off just to die back there. At least we were happy. Yes, you were in bondage for 400 years, but at least we was happy in bondage. God spoke to Moses, and He says, why are you crying to me, son? Move forward. Don't look back. Move forward. But there's this big ocean. There's Red Seas there. How am I going to cross that? Through faith. You trust God. In Exodus chapter 16, verse 3, man, they were looking back at Egypt, and they were crying and mully-grubbing, and they said, if only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat, and we ate all we wanted till we were full. But now you brought us into this desert to starve us to death. You know what Moses said? Move forward. Stop looking back. I love this in Deuteronomy 1. Moses instructs them to move forward. They were at Horeb. If you remember the story, that's where he got the 10 Commandments. And man, they was excited about the law. There were some major things that happened there. And God told them, He said, you stayed here too long. You've been at this mountain too long. He says, break camp and move forward. You got to keep moving. Yes, something amazing happened here, but you've got to leave it because I got a great place I want to take you. It's called the Promised Land. And then Deuteronomy 30, Moses tells these kids, he says, y'all got to embrace for the future that God has for you rather than being stuck in the old ways. And I love what he says. He says, I have set before you life and death. I want you to see the contrast of things he's saying based on the decision of where you're going to move forward or whether you're going to move backwards. I've set before you life and death, blessing versus curses. And then here's what he says is so powerful for us today to show you that you have a free will in the decisions you're going to make. Now choose life. Why? So that you and your children may live.